Welcome back to my video essay series where we've been talking about all things China. My name is Lauren. I'm a Canadian expat living in Beijing. I've been living in China for just over 3 years. And today we're going to talk about moving to China. So you've already been through the process of getting your work visa, you've found your job, maybe before that you vacationed to China. That's where we started all of this. And now you're ready to leave your home country and move here. Hi, fondue. And maybe once you have your own apartment, you'll be able to foster cats. We've been fostering 2 cats through a expat company called Furry Tales here in Beijing. They're on Instagram. You can find little fondue here on Instagram. Yeah. Meow. He is obsessed with food, and it's almost dinner time, so he might cause some problems here. It's okay. It's how he shows affection. He goes lick, lick, bite. So you're ready to think about moving to China. I make all the checklists. I try to be as prepared as possible. I want you to learn from my mistakes. I want you to be prepared. It's like I've already done the work, so like why not just share the checklist with you and you can take a look and see what you need to do to get ready. You know what I mean? The first thing that you're going to be looking for, which we already talked about in a previous video, but I'm going to say it again, is if you're coming to China, the first difficulty that you would have is if you get here and you don't have the right VPN or you don't have a VPN at all. So you need to have a VPN in order to access all of the usual social media and email things that you use at home. Anything Google, so like if you use Gmail or Facebook or Instagram, you need to have a VPN. So you need to, I have the same VPN, which Alex and I both subscribe to, and we use it on our computers, our phones, iPad, anything uses the same VPN. Right now we're using Astrill. The other VPN that people use is called Let's VPN. It can be confusing when you first look it up because there's so many good VPN companies that are often like advertisers for videos and stuff that are not compatible with China. So like when I lived in Shanghai in 2018, I used ExpressVPN, and that was like the go-to at the time. But now Express is, I don't know if it works here at all, or like it's just not reliable, or most people it's like not working at all. So Astral's the one that people are using now, that I'm using now, that seems to work. You gotta have it already downloaded, already on your phone and on your computer. You can get it later, it's just gonna be difficult. So make sure that you already have it on your devices. When you're getting ready to leave your home country, my question to you is, do you have a credit card? You don't need a credit card to move to China, but I have been so surprised with the amount of new friends that I've made here who come from other countries that don't have a credit card because it's just like not part of their daily use or like culture, or like that friends don't have credit cards or MasterCards back home. I'm like, what? Like, just for me, it's the starting point for anything that I'm gonna be doing. Like, so obviously when you move to China for work, the company that you're working for will help you set up a bank account, and you'll have all of your, like you'll have a Chinese bank card, which does work as a credit card as well for things that are here. But if I'm gonna plan a trip to Japan, or I'm going to plan a trip to Hong Kong, or I'm going to plan a trip home and I'm going to book through my, like I would use a credit card for everything. And so I'm just surprised when people don't have one and they want to plan trips or they want to do different things. I'm like, what? Not a debit card. Debit cards like are not the same as credit cards. Anyways, you should look into that if you don't have one, or not, but I mean, up to you. Speaking of money, when you're starting a new job somewhere, do you have enough cash to take with you to kind of get started on your new life? A lot of people show up here and they don't have enough cash with them to get started. So keep in mind that you're talking to your new job and you're talking about like how much your salary will be, and in your mind you're gonna be getting paid in the month that you arrive, but that's really might not be the case. So it's very possible whenever the cutoff is for the payday at your new company, you could travel, say like mid-month, start working mid-month, but not be paid that amount until the end of the following month or even longer. Anyways, so there's workarounds for it, but I would just encourage bringing cash with you. Go to your bank at home, get out some Chinese yuan, bring it with you so that then you can either just deposit that cash into your new bank account that your company will help you set up once you get here, or you just have some cash to spend on things. What are some things you're going to want when you get here? Well, you're excited to be here, so you might be going on some go to some cute dinners or do something when you get here. You're going to want to have cash for that in the first couple days. Are you going to want to buy any kind of decoration in the first month that you're here for your room? If you're being provided housing, are you going to want to buy anything? Do you need anything? You might not, but you might want some things just to make you feel more at home. If you're arriving in China and you need to rent an apartment, the typical cost to start an apartment is, I think, 3 months rent up front. I don't know. Some things to consider: first month's rent, last month's rent, a deposit, a damage deposit type deposit, and a brokerage fee to if a company helps you get your apartment. So that really adds up if you're wanting to find something in the first 1 or 2 months that you get here, or maybe you plan on staying in company housing a little bit longer. Just something to think about. Something that's unique to moving to China that may not be the same when you move to other countries is that it's really helpful to have some language skills moving here. So if you are a beginner or you're just starting out with Chinese but you're planning to move to China, I think the time that you're most motivated to start learning is when you're still at home and you're just waiting to get your visa processed and you're waiting to start moving. And if you can get a head start on learning some of the basics of Chinese before you even get here, I think you'll be really well off. And you'll just have so much more time and energy to do that before you get here. Once you get here, you're just thrown into doing work and doing training and everything. And yeah, it'll just make your life a lot easier, even if you can just read pinyin and say a couple small things. You'll just already be so much better off. Of course, you don't have to do that. When I moved to Shanghai in 2017, I did not know any Chinese. Hi, Patchel. I didn't know any Chinese before I left. We downloaded Hello Chinese, which is a great app, and I highly recommend it. However, so many of the Chinese learning apps don't teach the basics, and that is the most important part that you have to understand. Of course, you click through something that's oh, there's 4 tones that you have to know. Oh, this is how you pronounce this letter. But if it's not fully explained to you, you can't gloss over that. It's really important, those basics, and we kind of glossed over it. So we were learning some phrases, but we learned them incorrectly because we didn't know how to read pinyin. However, we were super lucky when we got to Shanghai because one of the first things we did was we had language classes where they taught us how to read pinyin and how to pronounce things. And because it was part of our job, it was really specific. And I was so thankful that we got to do that because some other people that didn't have that exact same job description didn't do those classes with us, and I just felt so thankful that I got to do those. So it's something to look into. You can also do it when you're here, of course. Alex and I have been learning HSK. We studied HSK 1 and HSK 2 just on our own time. That's the standard proficiency test for learning Chinese, and it's really great, really helpful. And then Alex has been working on his HSK 3, which the jump from 2 to 3 is oh my God, we have so much more to learn now. And it's just a lot more difficult. And he's been using a company that's based out of Shanghai, but they do online lessons. And they're really good. It's called Go East. And a lot of the people that I know have taken their classes, and they follow a similar structure to the HSK items that you're learning. But they have their own class structure, and I think that it's really good. I think people learn a lot and really excel with those classes. Or apps like Hello Chinese or Duolingo has improved their their Chinese one recently. And italki is also a good one. However, most of the teachers on there I would describe as just like casual teachers. So you can kind of let them know what you want to work on and they can help you, but it's not the same structure as like you're going to learn all of this information. You know what I mean? Back to home. You're at home, you're getting ready to move. Do you need to do anything with your current health card or driver's license or renter's insurance or auto payments? All of that is things that you need to look into like properly either closing out or properly registering that you plan to leave the country for probably 13 to 14 months, or like maybe even a 3-year professional contract that you're signing, depends. But if you're gone for more than 6 months to a year, you should look at how to properly register that. I did not do that with my health card when I left, and it turned into a bit of a problem when I got back. Bit problematic. So look into it. Another thing I don't know if you've thought of is mail forwarding. If you rent often and you've moved apartments before, maybe you've done mail forwarding. But if you haven't, for me, it's like Canada Post, and you just sign up for mail forwarding to get any mail that was sent to your address, to like a new address or maybe your parents' home. And yeah, mail forwarding. Make sure you get on it. Something else is double check, see what you think. Do you need to bring either your degree or your professional certificates with you? This has not been something that I needed to do, but after a couple friends of mine ran into this randomly, I now have my degree with me when I'm here working because I don't know if I'm gonna need it. I actually just don't even know. I just know that sometimes you need to have your degree. If they've already asked for it to be like notarized and you've already submitted it and stuff from home, maybe you don't need to bring it, but maybe you do. If you get here and suddenly you need an important document, that's going to cost over $300 to send, special documents in the mail, make it to China. I would be stressed. I think no matter what, no matter how much preparing you do, you'll always have just funny stories from when you first moved to China, and it's always something's gonna happen, but at least you can just prepare yourself most for it, and then just know that you're just gonna have to go with the flow and be open to things being different, be open to things being weird, and just kind of go with it. When we first arrived in Shanghai, this was our first time ever in China. The night that we arrived, there was no one to help us. So we arrived and we had a driver that took us from the airport to our new apartment. Alex was taken to a separate apartment. I was taken to a different building. Our phones, we didn't know if they were gonna work, if they were gonna connect. There was something weird going on with my phone. And we shouldn't have left each other's side, but they were just like, okay, I'm taking your suitcase, follow me. Oh my gosh. We got in the room. I don't think they even showed us where the Wi-Fi password was. They were just like, this is your room. Okay, have fun, bye. Closed the door. I was like, oh my gosh, where did Alex go? I'm just gonna have to go outside and just wait outside and hope that he's gonna come back out and find me. It was totally fine, but just that initial moment of panic, And we went across the street to find dinner. It's a beautiful plaza across the street. So we went to just a Chinese food place. We're like, we're going to be so, this is such an exciting experience. And love it when the menu is these big menus with big pictures and all you have to do is just point at the picture. I want this. And it was some vegetable dish. And I was like, this is what I want. And the waiter just looked at us and was like, mayo. And this was our first interaction with Chinese things that we just didn't know. And it's hard to believe because it was so long ago that I didn't know what she was saying when she said mayo, which is Chinese for don't have. She's like, we don't have any more of this. They're out. But I was like, no, I don't want any mayonnaise on my vegetables. And she was just mayo. It was just the first time, I was like, what? And this is where having Google Translate really helps. Make sure you have Google Translate downloaded on your phone. You can take pictures, you can speak into it, you can type, have it downloaded for offline use so handy. Something that was kind of shocking when I first arrived in China, when we arrived this time, I think we had 2 different medical checks that we had to do. One of them we actually had to complete in our like home country before we came here. There was lots of expenses this time around that we had to pay for in our home country and then get reimbursed once we got here, which luckily working for like a really reputable company, like we were never worried about it. But if I was working somewhere else, I think I would be like, oh my gosh, I have to get reimbursed for this. Yeah, there was just a lot of expenses when it came to the visa and the medical check and the extra criminal record check and documents, just a lot of things that came up. And then when we got here, yeah, there was maybe only 1 medical check this time here. When we arrived in Shanghai, we did 2 medical checks in Shanghai. And the medical check is, now I'm just like, okay, I get it. I'm used to this. But the first time I ever did it, I was like, this is so strange. Especially is it an EKG? When we did it in Shanghai, it was so weird. Like, it felt like we were the only people at this small clinic. And we went in one at a time into the rooms, but then you just don't really know what's happening in the rooms. And I laid down on this like really a plain kind of hospital bed like thing, and they strapped things on my wrists and my ankles, and then it was just strange. We had to do a chest x-ray, they tested our hearing and our vision, and we got blood taken, which most people are the most worried about just getting their blood drawn. But it's so quick and it's so common, and this is all these nurses do all day. You'll never have someone that's more professional at taking blood than these nurses who are working at this clinic, because this is all that they do. Really simple. Yeah, I remember my first Chinese language classes in Shanghai, and the first thing they do in language classes, they give you this really big sheet with it's like the pinyin chart, so it shows all of the initial and just all of the like combinations that create pinyin words, characters in Chinese, and how to read it in pinyin. And just looking at this chart and being like, oh no, and then having to just say things individually with different tones, or just the initials or just the finals, and being like, why is it so hard? It's like we're learning ABCs, but they're so hard. But then once it clicks and once it's all together, you'll be like, okay, I just feel smart. I feel like it makes sense. Even now, 3 years, I haven't been super dedicated in learning Chinese or anything, but just into the process, I feel like now I am just so comfortable. I can talk to delivery drivers. I can answer the phone, except when I cannot. Like, okay, because moving from Shanghai to Beijing, a lot of people in Beijing are from the north, obviously, and they speak Dongbeihua, which is a dialect that's a northern dialect, and it's fully different words. So there was one day, and I was riding my bike, and I love the neighborhood we live in. I just like being involved. Well, I like being involved in the neighborhood and just like riding past the little corner grocery store, and the grandpas in the neighborhood ride around on these funny little scooter bikes. And this grandpa rode up next to me, and he was just so nice. And I'm assuming what they usually say is he would have said something like, hi, like, where are you from? You know, because he's like, what are you doing in this neighborhood? You know, of course he's going to come over and ask me about it. And usually I can answer that question, and usually I can recognize when it's being asked. And in this situation, I could not. I had no idea what he said. And in those moments, I'm just like, I'm back to square one. We got the cats being crazy. Now we got the camera stops working, has to make more storage, come back. Okay, I'm back. I feel like I only had 1 or 2 things left, and then that was it. People often ask me, like, oh, I'm trying to pack, but obviously you're trying to fit your whole life into 2 suitcases. What should I bring? What is important to have? And in 2017, 2018, when people asked me this, I had kind of a list of things that I thought were important for people to have. Your toothpaste that you like to use, and the deodorant that you like, and extra tampons, because all of those things were not to me, it felt like in Shanghai, they weren't as available in the brands or the types that I was used to seeing in the stores at home. Of course, you can always find what you're looking for, whether it's at an international grocery store or online on Taobao. But there are some specific brands or specific things that you like weren't going to find. So I would always tell people to bring those things or specific like face products that they really love, like bring enough to last you for the year, those kinds of things. But now I feel like for me, I can't really think of anything that's not available that I truly can't get here. And especially because I'm not super picky about switching brands or using different things. So yeah, I really haven't found anything, and I guess I wouldn't really say that. I agree it is hard to pack, specifically, well, for Beijing, because the summer is so hot and the winter is so cold. So you really do have to bring both hot weather and cold weather outfits, which is a lot to fit into 2 suitcases. However, Taobao will be your best friend, and you will find lots of things that you will like, and you'll end up with way more than you can possibly take home with you at the end of your adventure. So don't worry too much about it. Do you need your winter jacket? Yes, you do. You do need a good winter jacket for Beijing specifically. Do you need winter boots in Beijing? I would say no. I don't have winter boots here. I just have, like, I would just wear like a double layer of socks. I have some little like fashion boots, but they're not like actual winter boots. You can use winter boots. Like, it does snow, but not the same as it is in Canada. The summer is hot right now. We're going through it. It's hot. It's hotter than it is in Canada. Yeah, everyone has different advice. Everyone has different things that they think that might be helpful or that they think you might want to know. Take all of it. Like, take all of it in, and then leave all of your expectations at home and don't bring them here because it's going to be your own unique experience. Everything is going to be a little bit different than what anyone tells you to expect, and everyone has their own, especially people with opinions who have never been to China have their own opinions on what things are like here or things that you will experience, and it's going to be your own unique experience. It's going to be different than what everyone says. And you just have to be ready, like just ready for something new and excited, and you're just going to have such a fun time. And whenever we have people that come visit us here or come to work here, I always just say to them, like, I hope that you enjoy your time here as much as we have enjoyed ours, because we really love the life that we have here, our apartment and the neighborhood and the lifestyle that we can have here of just simple daily conveniences of like ordering delivery and it just comes to our apartment door. And I literally order lunch like every day to come to my apartment door, and just like the little things like that I really add up, and we really enjoy it and we like it here a lot, and I hope that you'll really like it here too. And I'm excited for you and your adventure. And if you have any more topics or things that you want me to talk about on my video essay series, why don't you leave me a comment and let me know, and I will hopefully talk to you again very soon. Thank you. Bye.